we kind of interested with this system, because in United States usually you have to have the insurance, so they have a very good healthcare system. And for this short review, I found out that the new government, they created a new type of healthcare system. It's called the Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional. I believe you are from Indonesia, know it better than me, because you are really there and you are kind of players and also receiving this kind of system. So this is a part of sustainability. Actually, our theme is about sustainable development. So sustainability itself is called the ability to sustain, to continue, to save, to preserve, and also to endure. And this is quality of elements or system that remain continuously active over time, preserved for the future generation. This is also definition for the sustainable development. Now, in contact with healthcare system, we believe, as a human, we are part of sustainable development. So healthy people will continue the healthy nation. So sick people will make the nation also sick. So this healthcare system is really important actually for us, for Indonesian especially, to continue to sustainable for their development. Next please. Now, just for information, Indonesian healthcare system is very complex, it's very difficult, because we have a lot of islands, more than 17,000 islands, and our population is almost similar with United States populations, close to 300 million people. That's not easy to try to take care of everybody with fairness. Okay? So it's not easy. So, and also fertility rate in our place is still high compared to Southeast Asia, even higher. And birth rate is about 17 per 1,000 population. And for the Southeast Asia, 15 per 1,000. This is kind of higher than even average of the Southeast Asia. The death rate is about 6 per 1,000, and life expectancy after birth is about 71 years, which is less than average of Southeast Asia. It means that maybe it's not happy yet. So usually happy people have longer life. Okay, you see. And when Pak Bimantara talking about the middle class that has to be happy, actually in this system, the one that is unhappy mostly the middle class. Okay, we're gonna see that. Right. And then the pregnancy rate is meaning that everybody, like for example family in Indonesia, they actually have to take care of more people, because in their family they maybe have 5 children and they still have maybe their grandparents that's old. These are the people that actually cannot give something. It means that this is the one that depends on maybe just 1 or 2 people on that family. So Indonesia have about 31% dependency rate is high. It means that about 31% people actually have to be depend on maybe the head of the family. Okay, so that's the dependency rate. And then percentage population left under $2 per day is about 1.2%, which is kind of good. Okay, it's not that many people actually, still under that $2. And just for your information, this is the development of Indonesian health system in the time of Sukarno era. He kind of privatizing the hospital and provided very limited health service due to that limitation. It's not that many also. And then in New Order era, I used to be the PNS also. So most of the people that get the insurance usually on the army mostly. PNS they say you get it, but I didn't really get it at that time. I mean, when I went to the hospital, I paid by myself. I don't know about you during that Suharto era. I believe most of you don't really have the insurance, right? We have to pay. That's the reason why many of us in Indonesia actually don't like to go to a doctor if they are not really sick. They don't want to know whether they are sick or not, because if you go annual checkup, you have problem. Okay, you don't want to know that. So they just go to the doctor when they are sick. And in 2001, we have decentralizations of Indonesian government. I think if I'm not mistaken, there are now 38 provinces, right? If I'm not mistaken, anybody, we used to remember that. Now you cannot, because every year maybe there are new province will be, created. 38, okay. And then 416 regency or kabupaten and about 96 cities. And these provinces, kabupatens and city, they kind of have autonomy to try to govern this. So this is what we call the decentralization of the government. And then in 2014 again, our government created a system called the JKN, Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional. And I believe this is a very good effort to give everybody the ability to get the health care, to be healthy. This is a kind of a good program, so everybody actually will be able to go to the hospital with money that they have to pay. Now look at this one. The payer for this program is actually Indonesian government. It means that Indonesian government actually take the premium from everybody and then organize it and use it as a payment for that persons in the hospital or maybe in the clinics. And the providers, mostly government hospital, some private hospital, clinics, posyandu, whatever, the providers provide that health care. And then this is from what I get from my article review. The premiums, it's for first group, which is about 34%, is free up to $175. So this is the premium. Free for who? Free for the one that poor, which is about 10% poverty in Indonesia, and then there are 20% near poverty and 4% disabled. So about 34% they maybe get free or have to pay only $1.75 per month. And then the second group is $2.3 to $5.4 per month. This is for some informal workers. So if they pay this, they can access to higher level of hospital, second or third class hospital beds based on the premium that they pay. And for formal workers, I'm not sure about this. They say that according to this, they say that the contribution is based on their salary per month. So it means that, is that correct that your salary is actually taken every month for paying this? Because this is actually what happened in the United States. We have to pay most of us actually weekly, bi-weekly pay. So we paid, and then but the employer also pay some money for us for this insurance. So this is Indonesian JKN. This is just information about the organizations of this JKN, Jaminan Kesehatan Nasional, of course the central government, and then the main player over here, the Ministry of Health, that they actually own most of the government hospital, and of course some private hospital also under this, but this is not direct authority for the Ministry of Health. We can do it. Now, the benefit, as I mentioned before, this is one of maybe the best program that we have to make sure that all people in Indonesia get the health care. And then more people actually have the access to health care than before, and more people can afford to pay for health service than before. Next, please. And this is still a problem, Indonesian government actually only spend about 2.6 of the GDP for the healthcare system. So it's this very low percentage that Indonesian government spend the money for this program. Right? And then, and doctor patient ratio is still very low in Indonesia. And also there is a low pay offered by Indonesian government to the doctor for this program. And many doctors maybe don't really want to do this. And long wait frustration for getting service are particularly in hospital. This is, I mentioned before, about the middle class people. They used to have easy access, yeah, because they can pay by themselves even though they have little money, but they can pay it. But now, because the poor people also have the access, then most of their access now is, kind of used by this group of people. So now they have to wait. And some of them maybe have to go to other hospital, and sometimes they have to use their own money to pay for this, for if they have a disease, for example, if they're sick. And only 3,000 hospitals. So if you compare, America is about 6,000. And many still do not contribute to the health insurance, with the attitude that they do not need to go to the doctor if they are not ill. That, again, this is mostly in the middle class people. For the poor people, they don't have to pay, and they like to participate in this one. And BPJS has, right now, actually they have deficit of average about 59,000 rupiah per person. So per year. So you can imagine if we have million participants, it means that BPJS actually every year they have shortage of money, and this is make even difficult. I think Indonesia has to spend more on their their GDP for this healthcare system. As we know that education they get 20%, for example, other part of they get more percentage. Maybe in order to make Indonesian people healthy, Indonesian government have also tried to sacrifice more money for this system. I think that's all. So I believe if you have more questions, again, mostly you will have even better answer than me because you are there. I can give examples in my family, for example, because that's what I know. But on other family, I don't really know. Okay,
thank you, Professor Agus. I'm assuming that this paper related to the case study, right?
Yes.
Right. So again, I know that I didn't give you any justice for 10 minutes to give this great presentation. So I encourage everyone to read the whole paper so you can get the better number. But I'm glad that you for this slide right here, right? So I know that you give all the problem and challenges, but the three things that I don't see on your presentation first is sustainable funding for this program. A second, quality of care, and the third one in quality delivery services. It's not on the presentation, but I hope that's on the paper. So I'm going to open the question in the floor. If you have any questions, so we have one. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Pak, for the presentation. I think this really relates really well in my previous presentation from this morning's panel. And I don't know if this is a question, but would want to know your thoughts. So first is that when you say that JKN did provide benefits for the poor, in fact, most of the poor people does not have access to NIK, which prevent them to access JKN. And the second one is that when you show the complexity of the structure, it reminds me with the complexity of the data governance within the health sector. While having a very comprehensive data governance, a strong data governance, I believe that it could help the government to actually identify, based on this JKN program, to identify the needs of increasing the quantity and the quality of healthcare services, especially the primary healthcare.
Before you answer that one, the next presentation we're gonna have something about the open data from government, which is good. So please answer that one. So it's coming up. It's coming up.
Thank you very much. That's correct. If you see that Indonesia right now have about 3,000 hospitals, but this hospital is not spread all over the island. It's mostly in the capital city. That's the reason also many people from the remote islands, they actually cannot really take advantage of this JKN. even if they have to go hospital, maybe they have to pay for the helicopter to go from one place to another. So therefore, this is the reason why in Indonesia, the what you call the, we have the hospital, we have a doctor, but some people still don't want to the doctor because they don't have access to it. So they have still use what we call, over here people call this shaman. Shaman is kind of
Dukun.
Yeah, dukun in Indonesia. Yeah. So dukun is still, they still do practice, and many dukun they don't really have the the education about health and human anatomy or physiology, how to really deal with their healthy condition. So this is also another problem why the JKN is not really reach all the people. And again, this is because of our place that is not that easy to reach, especially the remote area.
I can entertain one more question before we moving forward to the next one. Yes, go ahead, sir.
It seemed to me that the presenter just described the problem, but doesn't describe the solution.
Right.
Yeah, because mostly, as I understood, the presenter just talks about inability the government to sustain the need of his society in one side, and the other one, the reluctance of the Indonesian society to take part of, to join the insurance, because some Indonesian Muslim assume that we don't have to join in insurance because based on the theological perspective, let's God manage that the future. But the future, we don't have to join the insurance. I need your comment.
Okay, that's a good, really good criticism and comment. Yes, I think education, has to be key over here, because if we don't really educate people about how important is health condition, then they might be will not contribute in this program. Because, and also there's another thing over there, maybe that I didn't really mention, that we, most Indonesians, actually we have, they have 31% people that they have to take care. They don't have extra money to really, think about the health condition. And that's the reason why they don't want to go to a doctor, for checkup and etc. They just go to doctor when they're really, really sick, because they don't have that ability to spend more money, beyond that they already spend right now. So I think education is one key over here, in order to educate people how important is the health conditions.
Thank you. I think we are right of time again. If you want to please read the whole paper. If you have any question, please reach out to Professor Agus and give her an applause. Thank you, Mas Agus. And before we do that,